It has been over a decade, but finally, the Avatar is back. Not counting the Netflix adaptation. We try not to count the Netflix adaptation here, aside from the time I made a video on it. Go check out that video, and then come back here. Thanks.
Gaming Cookie Guy Entertainment.
Before I go any further into this video, I want to say with all of my heart that I am glad this movie exists. I am so happy that we get to see more stories being told from this world, and I really hope that this movie finds its audience, because I want Paramount to greenlight more Avatar content. But with that said, I went into this movie with really high hopes, and it disappointed me because it felt like an anime movie in all of the worst ways. The power scaling felt all over the place to me. The end fight was this impossibly big, kind of unreadable thing, which is rare for the Avatar series. They're usually very deliberate in their action. And also nothing in this movie felt consequential, and no, that's not just because this was a midquel sandwiched between two stories that we already knew the outcome for. It's because I felt like I knew how this movie had to end before it even had a chance to get off the ground. And maybe some of this plot felt familiar because so much of this movie was like a strange chimera of all 4 seasons of The Legend of Korra. It has the non-benders feeling oppressed and taking it out on the Avatar like in season 1. You get this weird kind of spiritual kaiju battle at the end of season 2. You get non-benders gaining airbending like in season 3, and you can make an argument that Taga's motivation and goal matched Kuvira's from season 4. But unlike in the movie, those seasons all got the time to flesh out their ideas over a full arc of episodes, where in this movie, it just had to speed run. It had to blaze through all of these things in less than 2 hours. Now, did I at least like the things that this movie tried to do that were new? Well, no, not really that either, because I cannot express to you how much I don't like the retcon that Aang is not actually the last Airbender. I can't believe they made that choice. To me, that is a complete undermining, a complete betrayal of the original show and the world of Avatar. I can't believe that forevermore, when somebody says just the title of the original show, they're talking about, oh yeah, I loved Avatar: The Last Airbender, some little jerk in the corner gets to sit there all smug and go, actually that name, that title is kind of a misnomer, because if you think about it, Aang's not really the last Airbender until he defeats Taga in the movie. To me, that has to be up there with Korra Season 2 severing the connections with the past lives. Maybe not that bad. Okay, nothing is that bad. But it is up there. It is still entering the Hall of Infamy. And there were other, more nitpicky things I didn't like some of the specific animation or voices, the whole killing and subsequent revival of Team Avatar. That was weird. But I think I'm done ranting about the things I didn't like in this movie. And so now it's time for me to put my money where my mouth is. And so I would like to present to you my version of Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender, for your consideration. My version of the movie starts off with what I think probably should have been the motivation for Aang in this movie all along. It kicks off with and centers around the birth of Aang and Katara's first son, Bumi. Upon discovering that Bumi is a non-bender, Aang starts to have these nightmares and these panics all over again that his people, his culture, the air nomad representation in the local government, they will all die with him. Aang spends less time at home and throws himself into work. By day, he is passing legislation, and by night, he is patrolling the streets and taking out his mounting frustration on a burgeoning group of non-bender extremists called the Denied. He is rounding them up and imprisoning them. He is still blazing down this path when he is eventually visited by Taga, who claims to be a distant nomadic air acolyte who has been researching for decades and believes he has discovered the final resting place of the staff of Avatar Sonam. This is an artifact that he believes can open a portal into the spirit world and give airbending to non-benders. Aang, after briefly testing Taga and kind of realizing, yeah, he really does know his stuff, he knows his airbending history, he is willing to go with him on this journey. He decides to leave, and Katara is incredulous. She's beside herself. She can't believe that Aang would choose to leave her and their newborn child to go on this quest. She compares him running away from the responsibility he has to his family to him running away from the responsibility to be the Avatar, and rightly so. However, Aang claims that he is only doing this for his family. He is only doing this for Bumi, and he goes anyway. But not before Katara gets Sokka to join the expedition to keep an eye on Taga and this small crew of acolytes. Now, like in the original movie, Taga and Aang bond over their love of air nomad culture on the way to Sonam's vault. And when they encounter the Great Storm, it is Taga coaching Aang through the ancient technique to dispel these strong winds. That's what gets them through their teamwork. When they arrive at the vault, Aang has to bend all 4 elements to open the locks, and finally it reveals the staff within. Aang takes up the staff of Sonam, and Taga asks for Aang's blessing as the first to receive the gift of airbending in generations, and Aang happily gives it to him and all of his acolytes. He also offers this to Sokka, but Sokka turns him down, proudly remaining a non-bender. And now we get to see the airbenders all sharing this moment together as Aang kind of shows them the ropes of his element, and they fly through the skies, and we get to see Aang surrounded by airbenders. We get to see him maybe the happiest we've ever seen him in his life. And this is when they turn on him. Taga uses his deep knowledge of ancient airbending techniques combined with his newfound power to air whip the staff from Aang's hands and into his own. And together with his acolytes, they all blow Aang back into the vault and seal it. The acolytes then reveal themselves to be the leadership of the denied. And now with the staff, Taga will return to Republic City. He will give airbending to his non-bending brothers and sisters, and they will take the city as the capital of their new air nation. But before they go, Taga shows his version of mercy to his non-bending brother Sokka by forcing airbending onto him using the staff. All of these scenes would have been intercut with Katara back in Republic City, looking deeper into who this Taga fellow really is. She enlists Toph to do the literal groundwork to uncover the true identity, and when they finally do, she sends for Zuko and they leave on his airship. Cutting back to Aang, now trapped in Sonam's vault, he feels betrayed and he lashes out, but he is unable to free himself. Instead, he goes into meditation and is finally in this place overwhelmed with her spiritual essence. He is able to commune with Avatar Sonam herself. Sonam then tells the story of the staff to Aang. She formed the staff with the blessing of the lion turtles in a dire time. She wanted to give airbending to all who could help her on her quest for peace. But as more and more peacekeepers were slaughtered, she eventually had to resort to conscripting airbenders and forcing airbending upon them. These conscripted airbenders sometimes acted erratically, as if a spirit was possessing them, and some of them even died from their bodies, just rejecting the airbending that was given to them. This is when Avatar Sonam realizes that she has made a mistake, she has gone too far, and she hides herself and the staff away in the vault. Sonam apologizes to Aang for the mess he now finds himself in, and she apologizes for creating this vault that she believes will be his tomb, for only the Avatar can open it. And that is when the vault opens, and Aang comes out of meditation to see all of Team Avatar has assembled. Because what Sonam didn't really realize is it's not just that the Avatar is the only one who can open the vault. She, in her time period, just never imagined that 4 individuals from all 4 elements would come together and work together. Now, Sokka doesn't look well, but he was still able to airbend his lock open after watching the lessons that Aang was giving to Tagga and his group earlier. On the way back to the city after apologizing, Aang tries to energy bend the airbending away from Sokka, but something is wrong. He is being blocked and he can't really explain why. He concludes that he must need the staff to take the bending away. And so the stage is set. They all race back to Republic City, where Aang, conveniently for the bad guys, gathered all of their supporters into one place, into the Republic City prison system. So by the time they get back, there has been a massive prison break. All of Republic City's worst threats, in addition to now some feral airbenders, are wreaking havoc in the city. And you know how it goes from here. Things that words don't really do a good job describing. We get some action. We get some fighty. Assume you're seeing like the best action you could possibly see. Just imagine that right here in this section. The climax of the fight will take place in Aang's home, where Katara fights off Tagga. But as soon as Tagga reaches Bumi and threatens to hurt the baby, Katara backs off. She surrenders. Tagga then uses the staff to, in his opinion, liberate the non-bender Bumi and give the baby airbending. Aang bursts in just in time to see his baby boy just sneeze out a little gust of air, and he is so happy and so angry and so conflicted that it makes him hesitant. It throws him off balance in his fighting, and he's unable to even enter into the Avatar state for some of this fight with Tagga. We cut around to all the different members of Team Avatar, and we see all over the city the people are becoming overwhelmed, and Aang realizes he has to make a choice. He has to make the choice to either save the staff and save his chance at bringing back the airbenders, or he has to choose to destroy it and take away the bending of all the denied that are going across the city, and also save Sokka's life potentially. And of course, we know what Aang would do in this situation. He chooses the latter. He defeats Tagga, he destroys Sonam's staff, and he hopes that one day the spirits might allow airbending to flourish. In the aftermath of this fight, Aang decides to show mercy. Instead of rounding up all the denied and throwing them back into prison like he was doing at the beginning of the movie, he instead invites Tagga and his group to join him, and they officially become air acolytes. Using Tagga's knowledge of airbending culture and history, he is the one who is able to find the lost den of sky bison. He allows the acolytes to fly and experience the actual true joy and freedom of the air element. Sokka becomes the chairman of the Republic City Council and vows to make this city a haven for non-benders and benders alike for as long as he lives. And eventually we see Aang and Katara welcome their third child, their son Tenzin, onto Air Temple Island as Bumi looks on. The end. And that is my version of the movie. Now you may be thinking, well, hey, a non-bender, an air culture appreciator who is given airbending after knowing about some secret airbending technique or artifact. Well, hey, isn't that just Zahir from Legend of Korra, but worse? And to that I say, yeah, basically that's a valid critique. But hey, I am just working with the pieces I was giving here. If I was making an Avatar movie from scratch, I'd probably just adapt The Search. In defense of all the writers of this movie, making stuff up is hard. It's way easier to do what I'm doing and just rearrange things. But now it's your turn. What do you think? Do you think I'm crazy for even touching this 10 out of 10 masterpiece of a movie, or did you have any changes you would have liked to make? Please let me know in the comments, where I am totally down to talk all things Avatar. Please like and subscribe for more, and until the next one, flameo, my good Hotman.